Well, hey all you cool cats and kittens, it's your pal Jen Lou. Hey guys, how's it going? Happy Sunday. We made it to part 3 of Ezra Palooza. The weekend is over though, and it's very sad. Let me say hi to y'all. Hey Sam. Hey Molson Man. Hello Ali79. Hello Heather whatever. Hey Tony. Hey Coolest Reviews. Hey, Nonstop Mom. Hello, Crackling Rosie True Crime. Missing anybody? Let's see. I don't think so. Hiya, Shamita. Hi, Amelia Sparkles. Hi, Momo. How are you guys today? Hope everybody had a good weekend. I think I got everybody. Did I say hi, Molson Man? I feel like I might not have. Hi, Molson Man, if I didn't. Your girl tired. What a day. All the Sunday chores. Hey, Rubberhead, Anaphylaxis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see y'all. So, hi, Christine, Criminality Personality. How you doing? Oh, my goodness. Hello, hello. So, I don't know. I forgot where I was going. Oh, yeah. Now I remember. So, yesterday, friend to the channel, Ali79, took a little trip. And where did she go? Well, she went to Racy's. And I would like to present to you what had happened on her journey. So without further ado, here we go. And then we'll start the testimony. basically, in conclusion, Racy's is not like Cheers, where everybody knows your name and they're all glad you came. Not even a little bit. And there you go. Molson Man, if you look at the where I said the bathroom, that's where her number is, but there's two bathrooms, and I don't think that the bathroom that Allie went in had her phone number in it, or it was written over. So yeah, Allie took all the pictures and stuff, and I put the video together, and yeah, so special shout out to Allie 79 for going and buying gross coffee. She said it was gross. And she said that everybody was staring at her and she felt very uncomfortable. I mean, she had on 87 layers. I don't understand what the problem was. She totes fit in. I should have sent her with a drawing or something. I got some art she could have had. So, hey, Callie, I didn't see you sneak in here. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure it's a thing, but I don't know. I don't remember it. I'm sorry. Um, well, thank you, Mo. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys liked it, but really, I couldn't have done it without Allie. She was super cool to go and do that for all of us. And I don't know if you guys caught it because when I blew it, I shouldn't say that, when I enlarged it, um, remember how Ezra and Jason, I guess they had that weird exchange about life begins now or whatever. And that was in the bathroom. It was under some paperwork, but your girl spotted it and I circled it. Hey, Gwen T, how you doing? Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, 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 no. Coolest Reviews had a voice audition. You're absolutely correct. How did that go? At first, it took me a minute to recognize the name and who you were, and now I remember because of your profile picture. So, yeah. Oh, no big deal, Gwen T. We're just glad to have you whenever you can come. No, no, you were right, Christine. It's me. It's me. I'm the one that should be embarrassed. How did that go, by the way, Coolest Reviews? How did your voice audition go? Tell us about it while I get ready to do this sharing screen deal here. Come on, computer. Don't has the slows. So, I mean, it was clean. I thought it was nice. I thought, I thought they would maybe put a design in the foam, like be just a tiny bit fancy, but no, no, they didn't. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, you guys. I shouldn't be yawning like that. I'm just tired. It's been a long week. And I'm proud of me because usually I take 1 or 2 days off a week, but this week I don't think I did. I think I took 0 days off. I'm kind of proud of myself. I'm gonna just go, 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 go. All right, let me find Ezra's part 3 here. All right, so we have part 3, which is an hour and 23 minutes. And then part 4 will be 56 minutes. And then that's all of her direct cross exam. And then they'll be cross. So I think before we do tomorrow's episode, though, I feel like we need to hear from the friend that they keep referencing Jenna in the in her direct testimony, because I feel like we're missing out on something, and maybe we aren't, but I feel like we are. So yeah. Okay. Let me make this bigger. All right, let me add it to the stream. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm going to tell, yeah, she did do this. All right, yes, this is absolutely correct. However, the nail polish wasn't even on her nails a full, I don't even think 12 hours, to be quite frank with you, before she started picking it. And she picked it all off before she even left. So yes, she is. She's always doing her, always doing her nails, but Mo has beautiful nails. She really does. Oh, that's a good suggestion, Callie. I'll look into it. We're gonna do the next. Thank you, thank you. Welcome to the 11 billion club. Thank you, Christine. It's weird for me to call you that because that's not how I know you, but I'm gonna know you as Christine, and yeah. Christine is my middle name, so there you go. It's kismet. I forgot what I was saying. Don't be embarrassed. I always shout out the members. I'm so happy that when you guys decide to join, it's flattering, and I appreciate the support so much. I really do. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So Callie, the next case we're doing is the, Anthony Tote from Celebration, Florida. His jury selection is scheduled for April 14th. So we're going to yeah, we're going to start with that. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Molson, man. Y'all, you get to cut your girls some slack. I did my Sunday chores today and the video, and yeah. So is it April 4th? I thought it was April 14th. Let me check the Googles, Molson man, because I want to make sure. Please do hold. Well, let me go ahead and start this while you guys are waiting. I'm going to have to speed little Miss Ezra up a little bit because I can't hear her on normal. All right. Here we go. Oh, hello, Jen. You got to push play, big dork. See? It's going to be one of those nights, y'all.
Ted, no. Okay. And let me ask you, again, when he talks about his hand being unfeeling, is he referring to this physically or psychologically at this point, in terms of if he discussed it with you?
When he discussed it with me, he said it felt different, but he was discussing how psychologically it felt numb and strange to him.
Did Alex have some pet names or references he would call you besides boy?
Yes.
What were those?
His pet names for me mostly were his lamb. He would call me his son, as in S-U-N.
Wait a minute. I feel like we
And
watched this already. Hold on.
Lamb, son, and his goon at times.
All right, let me talk to you specifically.
Hold on. Let me skip ahead a little.
Did this connect at all with what Alex used to say?
Maybe did we already watch it? So we started Friday. No. That can't be right. Hold on.
No, Ted, no.
Okay. Okay.
We've had many times where we just pass.
Yeah, no, we watched this yesterday. How is that possible?
It's a flannel. It's very large on me, so I kind of use it as a coat or an overcoat.
Ezra, before we broke for lunch, I was
Wait a minute. How is that possible? That's not right. I hope we didn't skip part 2. That can't
anything
be.
else on your top half of your body?
Well, around my waist, I kind of had another sweater kind of tied loosely.
Hold on. This is not right. Well, this is unfortunate. Oh, I see what it is. Okay. We're supposed to be right here. There's 2 part 2s. That's what it is. Okay. So this would be technically part 4. All right. I get it. So then if no, not leaning on the keyboard again. No, I'm under control this time. Christine, but there's 2 part 2. There's 2 of the same video. One is labeled part 2 and one is labeled part 3. So I was all confused, but I got it now. This is going to be part 4. All right. Now, I was just testing y'all to see if you're paying attention. All right, here we go. Now we're doing it for really. All right, here we go.
I think we were at the point where the police had left and you and Alex are now leaving his house.
Yes.
All right. Whose car were you in?
My car.
Who was driving?
I was driving.
When you left Alex's car, did you go to drive Alex's car, excuse me, your car, Alex's
Yes.
house? Sorry, I'm talking too fast. Did you go to drive anywhere in particular?
No.
What was your intentions?
It was briefly discussed about maybe possibly going to a park or just somewhere in common to speak. We didn't settle on something.
As you were driving, were you paying much attention to where you were going?
No, just driving.
What was the subject of the conversation between you and Alex as you're leaving his house and starting to drive?
What we had started talking about is like feelings towards the relationship we had, and he started to now speak about how he felt about my relationship with Jason and how he felt about our relationship ending.
What was Alice's mood or demeanor during this conversation?
Alex was very solemn and he seemed frustrated.
As he was talking and you were talking,
Yes.
What was happening to you and your feelings?
I started feeling anxious after our conversation being abruptly interrupted. And now we were driving and talking about me and Jason and things like that. I started to feel anxious, just uneasy.
What did you do as a result of that anxiety?
As a result of my anxiety, I asked him if it'd be all right if he could drive for a while.
How did he respond?
He said, yes, yeah, I can drive. It's fine.
So what happened after he told you he could drive?
After we briefly parked, we switched drivers and he started to drive me.
Do you know where you were at that particular point?
No.
When he was driving at that point, did the conversation continue?
Yes.
Were you paying attention at all to where he was going?
No, I was trying to focus on what he was saying.
Did you know where he was going or direct him to a certain direction at all?
No, we were just driving.
What was the conversation about then?
The conversation was more led by him at this point, and he was voicing his opinion about my continuation of the relationship with Jason.
Just driving. No.
As that conversation continued, was there at some point
looking
that
for
Alex stopped the
delicate
car?
venues.
Yes.
Or
Do you know where that
tender
was?
venues, whatever.
It was just
he
some
said.
road. We
Some
just stopped.
road.
When he stopped the car, what happened?
When he stopped the car, when he stopped the car, we sat there for a moment, and a car passed us. Not much happened other than he started to pull into what seemed like a driveway.
And
hold on a
was this-
second.
okay,
Just give
to
me 1
clarify,
second.
where he initially pulled the car over.
Okay, so before we continue, I'm just gonna give you guys one of these. Give me just a second because I hold on a minute. Okay. There you go. All right. That's your warning because this is the day of, and so she's gonna be talking about what happened in her version of events, and so it could be triggering for people, but there's your warning. Okay, here we go.
Or was it on the muddy road or was it on a paved road?
It was on a paved road, turning into the muddy road. It's the best way to describe it.
All right, but at that point, had he completely gone onto the muddy road yet?
No.
After he decided to start driving again,
Yes.
what did he do?
He started driving. He proceeded to drive up the muddy road, and that's when we started to get stuck.
First of all, you've seen the pictures with the gate at the muddy road. Was the gate
Yes.
open or closed?
It was open.
All right. So when you say he got stuck or started to get stuck, what do you mean?
As we started to drive up this muddy road, it's kind of at an incline. We got stuck in the mud the first time.
Was there conversation about why he was driving up the muddy road?
No, well, it was just kind of, this seems like a nice place to stop, I guess.
All right. Was there a plan to do something once?
To get out, and we both love nature, so to get out, maybe look around a bit, explore, talk.
Look around a bit in a big old empty
When
field.
he got the car
What
stuck,
will you be
what
exploring?
happened?
When he got the car stuck in the road, I said, I can take over. I think I can pull it out of the mud. So we then again switched drivers.
What happened when you decided you were going to try to, well, let me ask you first. Had you ever been to this place before?
No, I've never seen it before.
Did you know where you were?
No.
You get in the driver's seat. Were you able to move the car?
Yes.
Were you able to do that without the assistance of any objects?
Yes.
Okay. And once you were able to move the car, where was Alex sitting when you did that? Or where was Alex? I'm sorry. That's what I meant to ask.
Alex was in the passenger seat with me.
When you were able to move the car, what did you do?
An Impala.
I was able to move the car because I maneuvered it onto what seemed to be grass. So it wasn't muddy. It seemed like the frost hadn't given out yet. So I proceeded to drive up this hill of sorts, and then I got stuck in the mud.
Hill of sorts.
You've seen the pictures of your car stuck in the mud.
Yes.
Did your car ever move again while you were
No.
there? Let me ask you now, you're stuck in the mud.
Yes.
What efforts do you make to get unstuck?
Well, I tried your typical backing up a little bit, moving forward, maybe turning the wheel this way, turning the wheel that way a little bit. But
You mean you turn the wheel to right and to left?
yes,
Okay.
to see if anything would help get this out of the mud. But it just, the tires at one point just started spinning. There was no use.
Did Alex get out and try to help push at all?
Hi,
No.
Vincent's missing ear. Good to
And-
see ya.
Did you try to use any objects to get yourself unstuck?
I looked for some in my car, yes, after we stopped.
Okay, first of all, did you look for things in the inside of your car?
Yes.
What did you look for in the inside of your car?
I was hoping there would be a brick in my car, a board, anything I can use to wedge under maybe one of the tires to gain some traction.
Did you find anything you could do that with?
No.
Did you look in the trunk of your car?
Yes.
What did you look for in the trunk of your car?
I looked for the same thing, but there wasn't anything that I wanted to have to stick under my tire and see it break or get ruined.
Was there something specific in your trunk you didn't want to get ruined?
My tent.
Oh my gosh.
And
a brick
did at some point you take a
and a
blanket
tent.
out?
I'm done.
Yes, I took a blanket out when I was looking in the back of my car,
Keeps a
kind of in the
brick
back
in your
footwells
car.
in the seat area. I set it on the ground near the open door. I wasn't too concerned that it was on the ground.
Okay. When you say the open door, which door are you referring to?
The driver's side back seat door.
Why was that door open?
The door was open so that I could look for anything.
And did you ever close that door?
No.
What about a pillow? Did you take a pillow out at all?
Yes, a pillow had come out when I took the blanket out.
So that just happened.
Yes, it just happened.
Okay. So you're in the mud. You're
Yes.
stuck.
Yes.
What is Alex doing to try to help you get unstuck?
At that point, he was very quiet. He wasn't doing really much. He kind of stepped back and he seemed like he was just letting me look and try to figure this out.
The things that were in your trunk, I know there's been some pictures shown that there's a couple of knives back in the trunk.
Yes.
Were you aware those were in there?
Not consciously, no.
Do you know how they got in the back of your trunk?
There's always various knives from moving place to place between my mom's and my dad's, and there was a lot of things in my trunk from moving out of my apartment. So they somewhere between moves.
Was one of those knives something Jason had given you?
Yes.
And what condition was it in?
It was, one of the clasps was broken.
We also saw a picture of what looked like a steak knife or a kitchen knife.
Yes.
Did you know that was in there?
I didn't know that was in there, no.
Did you take those knives out at any time?
No.
Did you go into your Senate council to try and get anything to move the car?
No, I didn't really look in there.
At some point, did Alex get out of the car too?
Yes.
And at some point, did you move other items from around in your car in the back seat? What I want to ask you about is the paintings Max gave you. Do you know if you
Yes.
moved those at all?
I did move the paintings. One of the paintings was upright, so I moved it to the front seat. I didn't want it to get ruined in me rummaging around. And the other painting had slipped under the seat.
So when you moved that painting, the larger
Yes.
painting, or maybe we could call the abstract painting,
Yes.
where was Alex at that point?
Alex was outside of the car.
After not finding anything to move the car,
Yes.
what were you going to do next?
Breathe. I was like, oh, great. I don't know where I am. I have no idea. I'm stuck in the mud. I don't know what to do. I need to breathe.
I'm just going to show you this diagram that has been used previously. It's exhibit number 285. And just to orient you,
Yes.
do you understand what is being shown
I
here?
do.
Okay, so this diagram shows tire marks in two different places.
Yes.
All right, the diagram shows to a pillow. Is that the pillow I was asking you about?
Yes, it's my pillow.
Okay. And although I'm sure it's marked on here, it's not. The diagram shows a blanket?
Yes.
All right. Now this is your car. Did you notice something next to your car by where you were stuck?
Yes, I noticed a large, what seemed to be military trailer.
At some point, did you go over by that trailer?
Yes.
Why?
It was a bit tall for me to look inside, but I kind of peeked at it to see if there might have been something. I stopped focusing on it and I decided to go sit just kind of on the hitch of the trailer.
Okay. Do you see this pointed object near where it says trailer?
Yes.
Is that a visual, though not accurate, representation of the hitch?
Yes.
So when you went over to the hitch, what did you do?
I went over to the hitch of the trailer and I decided to sit on it. And I was just trying to breathe through the anxiety and the feelings of being stuck, not knowing where I am. And I was just kind of looking out into the woods, sitting on this hitch of sorts.
During the time that you're sitting and looking out into the woods, was Alex talking with you at all?
He was behind me, but he was at my car at that point.
Was he in your line of vision, or how? Let me just ask this: how did you know he was at your car?
I could hear him open and close the door.
Was he talking to you at all?
No,
During this time, were you facing towards Alex or away from Alex?
I was facing away from Alex towards the woods.
Did there come a time where, as you were facing away from Alex towards the woods, that he approached you at all?
Yes, he had approached me from behind.
Well, since he's from behind, how do you know he's there?
I could feel him. I could feel that he was there. I could hear him approach. I could feel just that somebody was behind me.
When he approached, what happened?
As I was sitting there, he approached me from behind and he wrapped his arms around me. It was kind of a hug. He held me there for a little while.
Did you say anything?
I kind of tensed. I didn't really reciprocate the hug. And it was kind of a silent moment between us, but I felt awkward and uneasy, and it wasn't a time for me to feel like I wanted a hug, I guess.
Let me ask you something else. Do you know whether or not Alex had a phone with him?
Yes.
Did you have a working phone with you?
No.
You had your iPod, I gather.
Yes.
And the phone without the minutes?
Yes.
All right. Did you ask Alex at any point to make a phone call on his phone to try and get
No.
a tow truck?
No.
Did
I did
he
not.
offer to make any calls or try to get a tow truck?
It was a very brief kind of quick conversation about, should we call somebody for this? And I was like, I can handle it, I think. So no, we did not make a phone call.
All right, you could handle it, but you hadn't been able to move the car. What are you thinking when you're saying I can handle this?
What I'm thinking is I don't want to get my car towed because of how expensive it is. I didn't want to have to pay for that.
Okay. So let's go back to him coming over. He gives you a hug.
Yes.
What happens after he gives you the hug?
After he gives me the hug, and I tense. I think he felt that because he let go after he held me for a while. And I think he could see that I was breathing. I was trying to breathe through some anxiety, and he suggested that maybe I should go lay down or look around in the car again.
Okay, when you say you were breathing, can you describe what you mean to all of us?
What I mean is I'm sitting there and I'm just a lot is running through my mind, and I was breathing heavily. My anxiety was heightened at that time. I was trying to breathe through it. So I was trying to deeply breathe. It wasn't working too well.
Is deep breathing something you've used to try to control anxiety?
Yes.
Did Alex say anything else to you after he had eventually come over?
He suggested that I might want to lay down for a while and maybe just relax.
What did you think when Alex said that?
I just shrugged and was like, all right, maybe. And I decided to walk back towards the car.
When you walked back to the car, did you go in the car?
I went into the car, yes.
Where in the car did you return?
I returned to the car. I returned to the driver's side back door was open, and I approached into the car. I kind of looked around a little bit, moved some things a little more, and that's how I was getting into the car, was from the back.
Why were you going to the back seat and not the front seat?
I was thinking maybe he's right. I need to lay down for a little bit.
Did you lie down?
I did.
At some point after lying down, did Alex join you?
Yes, he did join me.
How were you laying down when he came over?
When he came over, when he first came over, I was still in a somewhat crouched position. So I felt him, I heard him approach, and I laid down. I got into the car further and I laid down on my back.
When you laid on the back, what happened with Alex?
When I laid down, Alex had started to come into the car with me and position himself above me. He's, you could say, straddled.
Was Alex speaking to you at that point?
Yes, he started to speak to me at this point, yes.
Can you tell us the words you heard Alex speak to you?
What he said to me at this time was, he started to describe me, and not in a third person sense. And he also started to speak of how he deserves this.
Well, let's just stop, because I don't know what you mean by he describes you in a third person sense. Can you tell us specifically what you remember him saying?
Specifically, what I remember him saying is, Ezra is beautiful. Ezra is my shining sun. Ezra, in the sense he kept saying my name and then something after that. Ezra is so handsome.
All right, so Ezra is beautiful. Ezra is my shining sun. Ezra is handsome. Had he ever talked to you that way before?
He hadn't talked to me. He said pet names before. He's sweet talked to me before, but this was different because it was disconnected. It was third person.
So in other words, are you, like before he would say, you are this, you are that?
He would say, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're this, you're that. But at this point, at this time, he was saying Ezra is, instead of, it was more as if I was an object.
After he's saying Ezra is beautiful,
Objection
Ezra
to that last comment, it calls for speculation.
that's how she felt. I believe that's perfectly admissible.
Are you objecting to the previous question before
Yes,
the
Your
answer?
Honor. Previous answer before counsel started again.
I'm going to overrule it. Go ahead.
All right. So you're feeling that he's referring to as an object. What else are you feeling at that point?
At that point, I'm not so sure how to really think about what was happening. I was a little confused because he hadn't come on to me earlier that day. I didn't think he was going to do this. I was starting to feel my anxiety come back full force.
Did he do anything with respect to your glasses?
Yes, he started to do things slowly and methodically. He first removed my glasses.
When your glasses are off, can you see?
No, not at all. Barely past a couple inches in front of my face.
So when he removed your glasses, what were you able to see?
I was able to see that he was in front of me. I can't see much.
I think you were saying that in addition to his referring to you in the third person, he was also saying something else. Can you tell me what else you heard?
That I was handsome and that he deserved this. I had betrayed him. I went back to Jason. He was upset about this and that he deserved me.
After Alex says he deserved you and takes off your glasses, what does he do?
He then takes my scarf and he places it over my eyes. And I felt his hand on my face and he asked me if I could see him. And I told him, no, I cannot.
So he puts this, you tell him you can't see him. What does he do next?
After he asks me a few times if I can see him, and I tell him, no, I can't see you, Alex. I can't see him, but I can feel him start to touch my clothes.
What's going through your head?
What's going through my head at this time is I don't know what I was assuming what I thought I knew what he wanted, and I wasn't sure, and I was anxious, and what was going on was going through my head.
Were you going to tell him to stop?
I hadn't really voiced much until after he had kissed me.
Then after kissing you, but about the other things he was doing, touching
Oh.
your clothes, caressing you, or whatever he did. I'm not sure what he did, but
No, I just was quiet and I was still.
okay. I want to get back to his actions as you were quiet.
Yes.
What is he doing besides kissing you? What does he do?
After he kisses me,
Yes, Allie,
and I
that's
pulled my head
correct.
back a bit. I felt he touched the hem of my sweater. I could feel a pull on it. And I wasn't sure at the time really what he was doing, but I could feel it start to give away. It felt looser, and my sweater had been opened.
Did you know how he had opened your sweater?
After I felt my sweater start to give away, I took off the scarf and I could see that he was cutting my sweater.
All right. When he kissed you, did you tell him to stop?
Yes.
Why say stop about the kissing?
He didn't ask me if he could kiss me. I couldn't see he was going to do it. It was so sudden and it caught me off guard, and it was strange.
It caught you off guard. You asked him to stop. Did he stop kissing you or continue?
He tried to kiss me again, but I tried to pull away with my limited room where I was.
This is
So
the
now
day.
he's cut
Hold
your
on a
sweater
second.
open. Do you tell him stop then?
Max, this is the day that she returned the heating pad. So she had borrowed it due to the cramps, and now she was returning it. And then that's when Jason busted in and suggested the tender venue to have this delicate conversation. And yeah, that's what's happening.
No, I froze.
What does he do after he cuts your sweater?
After he cuts through my sweater, he then starts to cut through my second shirt.
Do you move then?
No,
Why not?
I'm just trying to breathe. I'm frozen. I don't know what to do.
When you say frozen, what do you mean?
What I mean when I'm frozen is that I'm still. I'm limp. I'm not moving or resisting or fighting. I'm there.
Why?
I didn't know what to do.
After he cuts through your shirt, what's the very next thing you feel?
The next thing I feel is that my second shirt starts to get cut, and I can feel that he's cutting it, but I also feel a slight prick or something. And after that, he moves to my pants.
Were you able to see what he was cutting with?
Yes,
What was it?
it was a knife.
Now, about that knife, had you taken that knife out during the time that you were stuck?
No,
When you came back to the car before you got in the back seat, had you noticed that something was different?
I noticed something was different. I looked into the front of my car, and I noted how it was strange that my wallet was out of the console and that my middle console was open. I thought it was strange.
Let me take you back to the cutting. He's
Yes.
cut through your sweater. He's cut through your shirt. He's cut a little bit into your t-shirt. You have felt something on your
Yes.
stomach, I believe. And
Hold
after
on
that,
a minute.
what does he do next?
Hold on a
After
minute.
that-
Hold on a minute. Did I understand that part correctly? Is this all happening at the same time she notices her wallet is out of her purse or out of her console? Because just a second ago, she testified she couldn't see his face in front of her in the daylight because she wasn't wearing her glasses. Hey, Lily. What an entrance. Love it. I'm very confused. Let's keep going. Perhaps we'll have some explanations, although I'm not holding my breath.
He starts to cut through my pants. He's starting near the button. Well, below that, it's on the front of my pants, or the inner thigh, you can say. I can feel that he's pulled on it to give room so that he can cut through.
Was there, besides your pants, was he cutting through anything else at this point?
At this point, he had cut through my tights as well.
Where on your pants and your tights had he cut through at this point?
At this point, he had cut through the inner thigh area of my pants and tights.
After he's cutting through your pants and your tights, what happens next? Do you feel anything different at some point?
What was different at this point is that I could feel the knife start to graze and cut into my skin.
Where in your skin do you feel it?
I feel it on my vagina. I feel it. It's inside the hip region. I could just feel a pinch, and I could feel that the knife had been meeting contact with
Are
me.
you moving?
At this point, I was still frozen.
After he feels you feel him cut you in the vaginal area and in the inner thigh, what does he do next?
After I felt that, at this point, I had started to shift, and I brought my leg up.
Okay, I'm going to do before you brought your leg up, though.
Yes.
All right. What I want to ask you, as you're there, as you're frozen, as you're thinking,
Yes.
what is going through your mind?
Before I even moved, what was going through my mind is he's going to do what he wants. He's going to take anything he wants. He's going to use me. I don't know what to do. I'm terrified. I couldn't move.
Had Alex ever cut you with a knife before?
No.
What is different about this as you're laying there and he's cutting you with this knife?
What's so different about this is that in the past, only clothes had been cut, but this is the first time he ever cut me with a knife.
What are you afraid of now?
I'm afraid he's going to kill me.
As
Objection,
you're afraid
leading.
he's going to kill you, at some point, why are you afraid he's going to kill you? Let me just first ask that.
I'm afraid he's going to kill me because he has a knife, and I'm afraid that he's going to take whatever he wants and he's just going to finish this.
All of the things you've read about Alex, and I'm not going to go through his books and his philosophies again, were the things that he had talked about with you, the names he had called you, the discussions about sacrifice, consent. Did
Yes.
that, I mean, is your mind swirling, or what do you think?
My mind is running through his words that he deserves this. My mind is running through all of the possibilities of what he could want, of what he's going to take. I was wondering if he was going to kill me and then he was going to kill himself so that he didn't have to be alone.
All right, you're wondering this. At some point, do you manage to work yourself out of your frozen state?
Yes.
Tell us when that happens.
When this happens, I bring my leg up to position it more between Alex's legs.
When you say you bring your leg up, do you know which leg you're talking about?
Yes.
All right, and at this point, do you feel anything?
Yes. I feel him run the knife down a few times, the pants open, and then I feel that he punctures my leg.
At the point where he's running the knife and cutting
Yes.
you and punctures you, are you, besides the fact that you brought your leg up, are you moving your leg at any point yet?
No, I was just closing off the area of my vagina.
I know that we're talking about this slowly, but in terms of the time it's taking as he's doing this, what, fast, slow?
It was very slow at first. It was slow. It was very slow. And then as I brought my leg up is when it started to happen faster. Things were starting to happen now.
After you feel the puncture in your leg,
Yes.
and he's cut these, into your leg,
Yes.
what do you do to try to move?
What I'm doing to try to move is I have my right hand gripping the side of the seat. I was just thinking, maybe if I can pull myself away, maybe if I can do something, I can get out, I can get away from this. I need to move. I need to start to move. I was screaming at myself internally, you need to move.
Are you saying anything?
No.
Did you try somehow to reach for anything with your other hand, your left hand?
Yes, when my leg was pulled up, my leg is pulled up and I'm closing off the area of my vagina. I take my hand, my free hand, my left hand, and I grab for and bat at the knife that is puncturing my leg.
What do you feel when that happens?
I feel like a pinch or a prick on my hand every time I go to block it.
So when you feel that cutting into your hand, what do you do with your hand?
I pull my hand away.
Do you do something else then to try to resist him?
Yes, my
What do you
hand,
Go ahead,
as
I was
my
just
leg
asking you.
is between his knees at that point, gripping the seat, I decided then to knee him in the groin.
What happens when, you decided to knee him in the groin. Did you actually do it?
Yes.
What happens then?
He reacts and he drops the knife at that point.
When he drops the knife, what do you do?
Instantly, I grab the knife and I've used my arm to pull myself into the footwell.
She
that's
got Sherry.
when
She got life. Hold on.
That's
a
when
second.
everything
I'm gonna
really
push
starts to
pause.
happen.
So Sherry, she got life imprisonment with the possibility of parole. She has to do a minimum of 50 years. Okay, here we go.
All right, I'm going to talk to you about everything starting to happen. You have the knife.
Yes.
What are you doing with the knife?
At this point, I have the knife. I'm trying to get out of the car. I need to get out. I need to get away is all I'm saying. And I can't get out of the car and he's still grabbing for me. And this is when I began to defend myself and stab Alex.
Also, welcome,
Now,
Sherry.
you're
It's
saying
good
you
to
want to
see
get out
you,
of the car.
babe.
You're no longer lying down in the seat with your head by the passenger side door. Where in the car are you at this point as you're trying to get out and you're holding this knife?
At this point, when the knife is in my hand, I am trapped between the open door and the middle of the car, so where the console would be, or the seat.
You said you grabbed the knife and you start
Yes.
stabbing.
Yes.
Where's the back? Where's your back at that point, or which direction are you facing it?
I'm facing, what would be forward at this point is the rear of the car. I'm facing Alex, but my back is pressed against the driver.
Where is Alex?
Alex is in front of me. He's in between, he's not directly in front of me, but he's in between me and the door.
Are you trying to get out?
Yes.
You said you're unable to get out, so what do you start doing?
What I start doing is defending myself. As Alex is grabbing me, I started stabbing him anywhere and everywhere I could. I didn't know what was happening. I just needed to get away. I just needed to get out of the car.
Were you consciously aiming for any particular place when you were stabbing him?
No, it was happening fast, and it was anywhere and everywhere.
Do you have any memory of the order in which you stabbed him at all?
No.
Do you have any memory in particular of him attacking you as you're stabbing?
Yes, as I'm trying to get out of this car, as I'm trying to make my way to the open door, Alex grabs me by the throat, and I'm pressed, my body and my head is pressed against the driver's side back of the seat.
And is this happening before you stabbed him, as you're starting? Do you remember?
It's happening as I was stabbing him.
Okay. So he's grabbing you by the throat. You saw a red mark from these pictures on your throat?
Yes.
Is that where he was grabbing you?
Yes.
And besides grabbing you in the throat, what else is he doing to you? Do you know?
His hand slips from my throat and it moves to the back of my head where he grabs my hair.
What happens when he grabs your hair? Do you remember?
I remember as he grabbed my hair, he was holding it very tight and he was pulling my face towards him. And I remember that's when I had stabbed him inside the head.
Why did you do that?
It was a response to being pulled so close to his face.
When you did that and you're stabbing him and he's grabbing you by...
Wait a minute. Something is not adding up. Okay. So Alex is not directly in front of her, but her back is up against the driver's seat. So her legs would be, I guess, up underneath her, and Alex is between her and the door, but he's in the car, except for the way where she's saying that she stabbed him is not where the blood, I mean, there was some blood there, but that's not where the majority of the blood was. So, Vincent, to answer your question, she is looking out the rear window because she is got her back up against the driver's side or the driver's seat. And he is in between her and the door. So he's outside of the vehicle. This is all very confusing. This doesn't make, and this is the other thing. There was hair found and it was described as a clump of hair. And there was hair that had roots or that had the root attached to it, right? But there wasn't any hair found in Alex's hands. And I mean, you have to think about, she is no rubberhead. So, hey, Le Chat Noir. It doesn't, the way that she's describing it happened doesn't make sense at all. And anyway, bottom line is, so he's taken this, and I'm using the crime scene investigators' notes. They refer to it as a clump, okay? And it is a chunk of hair, all right? But he had no hair in his hands. And keep in mind that they're tussling in the back of this vehicle, and there is blood. So how is it that he doesn't have one single hair that's stuck to him at all? It just doesn't make it. None of this makes any sense, Ezra. You should have really watched some Snapped or something so you could get the forensicing down correctly, lady. At least make it sound believable.
Pulling your hair. As this is going on, at some point, does he let go?
Yes.
When he lets go, what does he do?
He didn't just let go. He had ripped my hair out from my head. And he then got out of the car.
When he gets out of the car, well, let me ask this first of all. Before he gets out of the car and you're doing the stabs, are you trying to kill him?
No,
What are you trying to do?
I just want to get away. I need to get out of the car. I need to get away as fast as I could.
So why do you keep stabbing him while you're still in the car?
Because he wouldn't let go. He wouldn't let me out. I was terrified.
He wouldn't let go of you?
No,
Where?
my throat and my head.
When he lets go and he goes out of the car, do you run after him and keep stabbing him?
No,
What do you do?
I was crumpled. I was inside the car still, and I was sitting inside the car on the driver's side seat.
At some point, do you get out of the car?
Yes.
And where is Alex at that point in time?
Alex is standing up near what was the green trailer.
Did Alex say something to you as he's standing up there?
Yes, I was confused.
Well, I just want you to tell us
What he said to me, what I heard him say to me was that he needed help to go to the bathroom. He needed help doing this.
When he said to you he needs help going to the bathroom, what do?
I instantly just wanted to help him, so I got out of the car and I approached him.
When you approached him, how are you feeling when you approach him?
Disconnected and dizzy and full of, I couldn't breathe.
Well, if you're so afraid, why do you go by him?
I just wanted to help. That's my first response, is to help someone.
So you go by him, you're going to
Yes.
help him.
Yes.
And at this point, what does he do?
When I go to approach to help him, I come near him, and this is when he grabs me again, and he pulls me very close and tight to his body.
Where's the knife?
The knife is in my hand still.
When he pulls you close and tight to your body, what are you thinking?
He's going to kill me.
What do you do as you're thinking he's going to kill you?
I reached around and just quickly stabbed him in the side, hoping he would let go.
Why do you think he's going to kill you at this point as he's grabbing you close?
I thought he was going to pull me down to the ground and get the knife.
Why do you reach around and stab him? Why? I mean, are you not face to face or?
It's because I'm pulled tight to his body, and that was the only place my arm could go.
Did you stab him anymore after that?
No,
All right. After this last stab one, where do you go?
I retreated back into the car and I sat there shivering.
When you're doing that, were you watching at all what Alex was doing?
Yes,
What did you see him do?
Alex took his coat off and he laid it on the ground near the trailer, and then he proceeded to lay down on the coat.
You know, I think I had forgotten to ask you, but in this earlier struggle in the car, had your boots come off at all?
Yes, one of my boots had come off.
Do you know which one it was?
No.
And did you later take off another boot?
Yes.
Had you done that yet at this point?
No.
He's laying on his coat. Is he talking at all?
I could hear him speaking. Yes.
Can you hear what he's saying?
I could hear him saying that he had been waiting for this for so long. I heard him saying strange things about roommates, and he just kept saying he's been waiting for this for so long.
After you hear that, what do?
I was still in the car at that point, and I was breathing, and I kept saying out loud what's happening, what's going on. And this is when I decided I needed to go. I needed to get away.
All right. So you decide you need to go. Are you kind of like almost feeling like things are black at all? Or are you conscious, or what's going on with you?
I'm feeling like I feel dizzy and faint, like I can't catch my breath, that things are starting to go black at the sides. It felt like I was in a tunnel, like I could only see so much around me.
Does Alex keep talking, or eventually, or, does he stop at some point?
He was not talking anymore at that point.
And when you're in the car, do you find your glasses?
Yes.
Was this the first time you found your glasses?
Yes.
Up until that point, you had problems with what you could see?
Yes. I couldn't see at all. I hadn't put my glasses on yet.
When you put your glasses on, what do you do next?
I put my glasses on and I could see everything. And I'm sorry. This is the point when I decided I needed to go. I needed to get out of there. I was panicking. I couldn't breathe.
Did you see a phone?
Yes.
Whose phone?
I seen Alex's phone.
Did you take it?
Yes.
Why?
In my head, I wanted to call the police. I wanted to get help. I wanted to do anything I could do.
All right. At that point, you're thinking that as you leave the car, do you still have the knife?
Yes.
What do you do with that knife?
What I did with that knife is I looked down and I opened my sleeve with the tip of it, and I hastily scratched the word boy into my arm.
Okay. Everyone wants to know, why did you scratch boy into your arm?
I've thought about it, and when I think about this, I don't know. At that time, it's something that just happened. It was just a reaction. I don't know why I did this.
Had you ever cut yourself before?
Yes.
When had you cut yourself before?
In the past, when I had cut myself on my arm was at times when I felt like I couldn't breathe, when I felt numb, when I felt like I needed to act because I couldn't feel anything. It woke me up in a sense.
Did you feel that way at this time?
Yes.
Objection. Relevance. I know 402 or 404, I mean.
I think I'm asking about her feelings right afterwards. We're right in this incident. I'm asking her what she's feeling.
Well, overruled. Go ahead, continue.
Thank you. All right, you've already said how you feel. After you cut Boy in your arm, do you know where you were when you did that?
At that point is when I was staying away from Alex because of the fear. I was at the end of the car and I had my hand placed on the back of the car.
After you cut Boy in your arm, what do you do? Well, first of all, is your second shoe on at this point?
No.
When you leave, where is Alex?
Where's the
Alex
shoe
is
and
still
the
laying
yellow
on his
cup?
coat.
Do you know, or had you noticed whether or not he had his shoes on at that point or not?
He still had his shoes on at that point.
And when you say he's laying on his coat, where is he laying on his coat?
He's laying on his coat near the green trailer.
You cut Boy in your arm.
Yes.
You told Detective Prock that you wouldn't forget. You did to not forget. Today you're saying you're searching your mind and you just don't know.
There's so many things I could think that it could be, but I search my mind, and when I think about this, I really just don't know the answer.
Where do you go after you have cut Boy in your arm?
After I cut Boy in my arm, I started to make my way down that dirt driveway.
You told Detective Prock that you could not get this outside of your head. What did you mean by that?
I couldn't get the feeling outside of my head. I couldn't get the panic, the visual of the horror of seeing Alex and seeing the blood.
I think before
You-
she
Some
carved
of
the
the
boy
things that you
into
said
her
in
arm,
court, but
Vincent,
what I meant to ask you
missing
before
ear.
that was the way you've related this is a little bit different than some of what you related to Detective Prock when you told him what happened
Yes.
a couple of days later. And do you have an explanation or know why you remember this a little differently now?
I've had time to process it. I've had time to process it. And the moment after, speaking to Proc, it was fresh. All of the feelings, I was feeling the emotions and sights, and now I've had significant amount of time to process what has happened to me.
When you told him then that you couldn't get it out of your head, was it like replaying it in order? Was
No.
it fragments? Was it here and there? Was it, you know?
It was fragments. It was even smells. It was just a mix of parts of what had happened.
Okay. I'm going to have to take you back now to going to the farmer's house.
Yes.
To Mr. Sipples, okay?
Yes.
What do you remember about going there?
I remember a farmer, he took me into his house, sat me down and got me a blanket.
Before you got to his house, where were you going? I mean, do you remember how you got there at all?
I just remember stumbling down a road, falling on a paved road a few times, just feeling like I could barely get my feet to move. And I noticed some cars in a driveway, and I thought, someone's home. I have to see if someone's home.
Do you know at all when you fell, what happened to the, well, first of all, you were carrying the knife and the phone, I think you
Yes.
said that. When you fell, did something happen to those?
When I fell the first time, I had hit my hand very hard in the phone. I dropped the phone and I broke the phone.
And what about the knife?
The knife I just dropped.
Were you trying to hide them?
No.
I think you were talking about what Mr. Sipple did when you got there.
Yes.
When you got there, was there some point where somebody asked you your name?
Yes.
Do you remember at all what you said when you were there?
No.
Do you know whether when you were there, what your state of mind was?
I was just panicked.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about your name, Monica Carlin.
Yes.
You've heard the testimony that you gave your name as Monica Carlin.
Yes, I've heard that.
And I think as you're saying now, you don't remember doing that.
No.
Was there an earlier time in your life when you had a traumatic car accident?
Yes.
What happened then?
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach?
Yes.
I believe I was asking about a traumatic accident you once had with a horse.
Yes.
Can you just briefly tell me about that?
I had just gotten my license and I was returning some movies to town, and I was driving my car and
First of all, how old were you? You said you just gotten your license.
16.
Okay.
I was driving and a horse and buggy bolted through a stop sign and went through my windshield.
After that happened and the horse went through your windshield, what happened to you?
I was taken to the hospital by ambulance.
A couple of years later, did you have another car accident?
Yes, I did.
When you had the second car accident, what did you do that time?
That time I had blacked out and opened my eyes, and I was in the ditch on the side of the highway. I'd gone through a fence.
After you were on the ditch on the side of the highway, did you go to the hospital again?
Yes.
Who visited you there?
My mother and my boyfriend at the time, Jason.
And when you were in the hospital, what were you talking about at the hospital the second time?
The second time at the hospital, when I woke up, I was asking, where's the horse? Is the horse okay? Is everybody okay?
Was there a horse in the second accident?
No, I was right back into the first accident I had had.
And what name did you give after that?
I gave my name Monica.
Do you know this because you remember it, or were the people who with you told you had done this?
The people that were with me had told me that this was happening.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this as being hearsay,
All right, sustain on hearsay.
and
No.
ask that
And
that be
last
stricken.
answer would be stricken.
Okay, now after, I'm going to go back to this. So when you're at the farmer's house,
Yes.
are you aware of just happened to you? Of what had just happened to you at that point?
At that point, I wasn't aware of much other than being panicked and terrified and hurt.
You said you were attacked by them. Is them a word you would use referring to a singular person?
Yes.
And why do you sometimes call a singular person them or they?
I've been known to do this many times. It's a pronoun that I've been used to using. It's neutral.
You said you were attacked, but without giving details when you were there. Why was that?
I said I was attacked because the feeling of fear of having to get away from this individual, of feeling like someone was coming, or that I was hurt by someone and that something had happened. I looked down at my clothes and I could see they were open, and I was terrified.
The police came. Did you talk to the police?
Yes.
Do you have any memory of those conversations?
No.
Do you know how you got to the hospital?
By ambulance.
Do you have any memory of that ambulance ride?
No.
What about getting to the hospital? Do you remember what happened once you got to the hospital?
I remember bits and pieces of what had happened when I got to the hospital because they had started to take my clothes.
Do you remember doctors, nurses, anything else?
I barely remember faces. It's a blur of movement and people checking in and people being with me constantly and talking to me and asking me questions and prodding and poking at me.
Do you remember any of your statements to the police that day? That day, the first night at the hospital?
No.
Was there a point in the hospital where your memory began to return to you?
Yes.
When was that?
The point when things started to flood back to me was when I finally was able to take a shower that night. And I went to get some soap or shampoo from the wall. And when I pumped it onto my hand, I felt how much it stung. And I looked down and I could see my hand was cut. And I could feel everything start to come back.
Was that
I want to know about the horse too.
the next day
Christine.
Detective Brock came to
I
see you?
do.
Yes.
Do you remember talking to him?
I do remember speaking with him, yes.
Do you remember speaking with him twice, or is it a blur, or how do you recall that?
My talks with Proc, when I remember them, it feels like it's just one interview. It doesn't feel distinctly two different interviews for me.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
All right. Whether you remember it as one or two, Detective Proc came to see you the next day and he was asking you where Alex was.
Yes.
And the next day when he's asking you where Alex was, did you tell him about
No.
what had happened?
I did not tell him, no.
Why not?
I was overwhelmed and I was terrified. I didn't know what to do.
When you don't tell him, was there any thought in your head that had you told him some help could be gotten for Alex, or what did you think had happened to Alex at that point?
At that point, I thought Alex was dead.
Was that also something you thought as you cut Boy into your arm and ran away from the car?
Yes.
Why did you tell Detective Prock that Alex put Boy in your arm?
Why I told him this was that I was afraid that because I did this to wake myself up, that he wouldn't believe that anything else that had happened to me was true.
No,
But at
it
this
was-
point, you're not telling him the other things that have happened to you.
No,
And you're making a
I was
decision not to.
harnessing
Yes.
them,
Why is
though,
that?
Allie.
because of how terrified I am of what had happened.
The next day, and again, I realize these seem like one incident to you, but Detective Prock comes back with another investigator,
Yes.
Mr. Conkey, and he's asking you questions and you don't tell him then right away either.
No,
Do you know why?
because of how terrified I was. I wasn't ready to tell anybody. I didn't know how to process this. I didn't know how to handle this.
At some point in that conversation, he told you that they had found your car. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
When he told you that, did you start talking about what happened?
Yes, it started to come out then.
And eventually in that conversation, not right away, did you tell him that you had put the word boy in your arm?
Yes.
And again, were you hesitant to tell him that?
Yes.
I mean, even after you told him all of these things and what happened, were you
Yes,
hesitant?
I was.
And why was that?
Because after I told him, I still had that thought in my mind that he would assume that because I had done this, anything else that happened to me was my fault.
Ezra, the night before this happened, did you have a talk with your father?
Yes.
What was that talk?
I'm sorry. That talk with my father was about life starts now.
And when you had that talk, did you plan to start life by killing Alex?
No,
Did you come to Eau Claire to kill him?
no.
What were you hoping to do when you saw Alex?
I was hoping we could be friends still, even after everything that happened between us.
I have no further questions at this time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 15-minute recess.
Okay, so hang on just a second. I don't know why it does. All right, hold on. What I want to do right quick is let me go forward a little bit and see where this diagram is. Doesn't she put a diagram up? Hold on a minute. Oh, she does. Because, all right, hold on. The reason I want to put this diagram up is because, first of all, okay, Impalas are not known for their roomy back seats, okay? Like that's number one. But what I'm trying to see here is, let me make this bigger for me because this is the diagram. But I want to make this bigger for me. Where's her car supposed to be at? Next to the driveway? Is that what it is? Next, is it this thing next to the, in between this red square and all these other red dots? Yeah, that must be her car. Okay, so, the reason I'm asking is because to me, yeah, but those are 6'4" Impalas. Those are old Impalas, not 2000s Impalas. It's not the same, you know, but yes, Mo. But yeah. It's different. It's a different, I mean, it's the same, but it's not the same. All right. But bottom line is this. This is the part that that she's lost me at, because up until this point, although I'm having very difficulty picturing where everybody is in relation to everybody else, right? And how this is all working out. But what I don't understand is, it seems to me that he was running from her. Correct. Vincent's missing here. Thank you. Not a Goodfellas Impala. Like, this is like a 2000s Impala. They're smaller. So I feel like this is where where she's lost to me, because him taking his jacket off after she did what she did doesn't make sense. First of all, she stabbed him in the jugular. And now, while you don't need your jugular vein to speak, you do definitely need it to live. But she also, if I'm not mistaken, one of the times that she stabbed him, punctured his lung. So you can, I mean, my husband has had a spontaneous collapsed lung, and that's different than a collapsed lung because of an injury. And so he could talk, but his collapsed. It wasn't perforated. So I'm finding it very difficult to believe that he said any of the things that she claims that he said to her while he was, I think he was attempting to get away from her when he exited the vehicle. And I firmly believe that she drug him back and she put him in the back seat of that vehicle. Because otherwise it makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? None of this. What's Molson Man? Hey, recliner detective. Well, what I'm saying is, yes, he would yes, that's correct. But what I'm saying is, she's saying that he spoke to her. And I find it very difficult to believe that he spoke to her. And not only that, I find it very difficult to believe that he took his own jacket off with those injuries. That's what I find difficult to believe. Very difficult. Okay. I can understand where you would think that. But they say that, well, not they. I don't want to use that. The prevailing thought is that when a person is in a traumatic crisis situation, there are 3 responses: fight, flight, and freeze. So it's conceivable that maybe she didn't say anything because she was scared, right? And she claims that she froze. Okay. But she didn't freeze completely, because at some point she came back to and started to fight him. But the injuries that she has to her arm or to her hands don't match with her story at all. Number 1. And number 2, none of this makes sense. Her story makes absolutely no sense. Not even if you take everything away, take the emotions out of it, just from a purely scientific standpoint, the way that she says that this occurred, it couldn't have occurred that way. There's no way. I think what happened is, I think that there was some kind of potential. I think he rejected her, is what I think. And I think that See, I'm going to have to come back to this. I'm going to have to finish listening to all of her testimony before I actually say what I think, because having the knowledge now of Jason and why he followed Ezra that day over to Alex's house makes a lot more sense than it did before. Like there was this big weird something is missing, right? Remember that, because we couldn't figure out like why all of a sudden did he decide, he was going to go full stalker mode and follow her out to hey Dr. B, follow her out to
Hi.
Hi, what's you doing?
I joined a little
I
late.
know. Again.
Seem to always come around the 1 hour and 20-minute mark.
I'm not inviting you to my next sleepover.
How
You
far
can't
into
come
it
to
are
the
we?
slumber part. We've already freaking done the whole testimony.
Girl.
I start at 9. Is there a better time where it would be easier for you to join if I change it to a different time?
Yes, 9, which is right
10
now.
my time. So everybody, Dr. B needs us on a weekday, on a work day, the last day, it's Sunday, which is the day before a work day. All of us East Coasters need to start at 10 so that she can show up at 11. I'm teasing. We'll figure it out. I'll move it around so that you can be, because I want you to be here for this part. This is the important part. This is Ezra's
I
moment in
know.
time. She testified to what
Yes.
happened. Okay, here's where we're stuck. Well, me. I'm stuck on this. First of all, the way she testified to it happening, she is facing the rear of the car. Her head, her eyeballs are looking out of the rear window. Her back is pressed up to the driver's side or the driver's seat, the back of the driver's seat. Okay. But I can't figure out where Alex is because she says that he is in between her and the door. Well, there's 2 doors. So if he's next to her, which door? Then that would make him be outside of the vehicle, right? Or is he next to the other door, the passenger side door? You see what I'm saying? Our story makes no sense. Plus, a lot of the blood was actually found in the front of the car.
Right.
So
Yeah.
then we have this whole scenario where she's first of all, her glasses are gone. He's taken her glasses and she can't help herself in any way, shape, or form because she can't see. All right. Then you want to watch it again. Coolest Review says, let's watch it again. Do you guys want to watch it again? I suppose we could. We could skip forward to just that day.
Yeah,
if you guys want
show
to.
me the highlights.
All right, hold on.
Yay. Hi, Coolest Review. Heather,
And
whatever,
although I'm sure it's marked on
Michelle,
here, it's not.
Ellie.
He could see that I was breathing. I was trying to breathe through some
Hi, Ezra.
Okay. We're stuck in the
how
car.
I was getting into the car.
Stuck in the mud, stuck in the mud, stuck in the mud.
Eyes, and I felt his hand on my face, and he
Looking for a brick, looking for a
that's-
pillow. I didn't want to use my tent.
started to do things slowly.
Okay, here we go.
The council started again.
Is she being cross-examined?
Go ahead.
No,
All right.
They're
so
rejecting.
You're feeling that he's referring to as an object.
okay. So at this point, what she has testified to is that he is now referring to her in the third person because he's calling her Ezra. I know.
Okay.
Okay. Third person, obviously, would be me saying, Jen doesn't believe you, Ezra. I would be referring to myself in the third person. He's just, look, have you not seen the never ending story? Bastion, call my name. Lady, he called you by your name. That's the least dehumanizing thing somebody can do, is to call you by your, not even your government name. He called you by the name that you changed your name to. Okay.
Okay, well, here's a summary by Ali, 79. They drove into mud. Ezra couldn't breathe, laid down. Alex stretched out beside her. She couldn't see and thought the horse, was coming at her to fight, and she unalived all. Well, that helps.
Yeah. So this is where we're at now. This is how it starts. Are you ready? I'm just gonna let it play without pausing because I need a sick. Ezra was just extra AF and too much for Jen today.
What else are you feeling at that point?
At that point, I'm not so sure how to really think about what was happening. I was a little confused because he hadn't come on to me earlier that day. I didn't think he was going to do this. I was starting to feel my anxiety come back full force.
Did he do anything with respect to your glasses?
Yes, he started to do things slowly and methodically. He first removed my glasses.
When your glasses are off, can you see?
No, not at all. Barely past a couple inches in front of my face.
So when he removed your glasses, what were you able to see?
I was able to see that he was in front of me. I can't see much.
I think you were saying that in addition to his referring to you in the third person, he was also saying something else. Can you tell me what else you heard?
That I was handsome and that he deserved this. I had betrayed him. I went back to Jason. He was upset about this and that he deserved me.
After Alex says he deserved you and takes off your glasses, what does he do?
He then takes my scarf and he places it over my eyes. And I felt his hand on my face and he asked me if I could see him. And I told him, no, I cannot.
So he puts this, you tell him you can't see him.
What is she
What does he
doing
do
with her
next?
arm? She seems like
After
she's rubbing.
He asks me a
herself
few
or
times if
something.
I can see him. And I tell him, no, I can't see you, Alex. I can't see him, but I can feel him start to touch my clothes.
What's going through your head?
What's going through my head at this time is I don't know what I was assuming what I thought I knew what he wanted, and I wasn't sure, and I was anxious, and what was going on was going through my head.
Were you going to tell him to stop?
I hadn't really voiced much until after he had kissed me.
Then after kissing you, but about the other things he was doing, touching your clothes, caressing you, or whatever he did. I'm not sure what he did, but.
No, I just was quiet and I was still.
Okay, I want to get back to his actions as you were quiet.
Yes.
What is he doing besides kissing you? What does he do?
After he kisses me and I pull my head back a bit, I felt he touched the hem of my sweater. I could feel a pull on it. And I wasn't sure at the time really what he was doing, but I could feel it start to give away. It felt looser and my sweater had been opened.
Did you know how he had opened your sweater?
After I felt my sweater start to give away, I took off the scarf and I could see that he was cutting my sweater.
All right. When he kissed you, did you tell him to stop?
Yes.
Why say stop about the kissing?
He didn't ask me if he could kiss me. I couldn't see he was going to do it. It was so sudden and it caught me off guard and it was strange.
It caught you off guard. You asked him to stop. Did he stop kissing you or continue?
He tried to kiss me again, but I tried to pull away with my limited room where I was.
So now he's cut your sweater open. Do you tell him stop then?
No, I froze.
What does he do after he cuts your sweater?
After he cuts through my sweater, he then starts to cut through my second shirt.
Do you move then?
No.
Why not?
I'm just trying to breathe. I'm frozen. I don't know what to do.
When you say frozen, what do you mean?
What I mean when I'm frozen is that I'm still. I'm limp. I'm not moving or resisting or fighting. I'm there.
Why?
Who's thinking of Madonna's Frozen when your heart's not open?
Next thing I feel is that my second shirt starts to get cut and I can feel that he's cutting it, but I also feel a slight prick or something. And after that, he moves to my pants.
Were you able to see what he was cutting with?
Yes.
What was it?
It was a knife.
Now, about that knife, had you taken that knife out during the time that you were stuck?
No.
when you came back to the car before you got in the back seat, had you noticed that something was different?
I noticed something was different. I looked into the front of my car and I noted how it was strange that my wallet was out of the console and that my middle console was open. I thought it was strange.
Let me take you back to the cutting. So
Yes.
he's cut through your sweater. He's cut through your shirt. He's cut a little bit into your t-shirt. You have felt something on your
Yes.
stomach, I believe. And after that, what does he do next?
After that, he starts to cut through my pants. He's starting near the button, well, below that. It's on the front of my pants, or the inner thigh, you can say. I can feel that he's pulled on it to give room so that he can cut through.
Was there, besides your pants, was he cutting through anything else at this point?
At this point, he had cut through my tights as well.
Where on your pants and your tights had he cut through at this point?
At this point, he had cut through the inner thigh area of my pants and tights.
After he's cutting through your pants and your tights, what happens next? Do you feel anything different at some point?
What was different at this point is that I could feel the knife start to graze and cut into my skin.
Where in your skin do you feel it?
I feel it on my vagina. I feel it. It's inside the hip region. I could just feel a pinch, and I could feel that the knife had been meeting contact with.
Are you moving?
At this point, I was still frozen.
After he feels you feel him cut you in the vaginal area and in the inner thigh, what does he do next?
After I felt that, at this point, I had started to shift, and I brought my leg up.
Okay, I'm going to do before you brought your leg up, though.
Yes.
All right. What I want to ask you, as you're there, as you're frozen, as you're thinking,
Yes.
what is going through your mind?
Before I even moved, what was going through my mind is he's going to do what he wants. He's going to take anything he wants. He's going to use me. I don't know what to do. I'm terrified. I couldn't move.
Had Alex ever cut you with a knife before?
No.
What is different about this as you're laying there and he's cutting you with this knife?
What's so different about this is that in the past, only clothes had been cut, but this is the first time he ever cut me with a knife.
What are you afraid of now?
I'm afraid he's going to kill me.
As you're afraid he's going to kill you, at some point, why are you afraid he's going to kill you? Let me just first ask
Hi,
that.
Sam.
Hi,
I'm afraid
Sam.
he's going to kill me because he has a knife, and I'm afraid that he's going to take whatever he wants and he's just going to finish this.
All of the things you've read about Alex, and I'm not going to go through his books and his philosophies again, were the things that he had talked about with you, the names he had called you, the discussions about sacrifice, consent. Did that, I mean, is your mind swirling? Or what do you think?
My mind is running through his words that he deserves this. My mind is running through all of the possibilities of what he could want, of what he's going to take.
Okay, I think I've heard enough.
Okay, you've
I was
heard enough.
wondering if he was going to kill.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
I'm ready for the cross.
Well, the cross isn't yet. We have one more part of her
Oh,
before
okay,
she
good.
before the cross exam.
Okay.
Right? Let me look. Let me just make sure. Hold on. Let me
We'll
stop
ease
share.
into it.
It might be tomorrow. Might be part 5. Yeah, because there was a little kerfuffle. So hold on.
Uh-huh.
Please do hold. I don't understand any of this. None of what she says. Like, even if I took away all the emotion, right? I didn't know how to process all the things. Tomorrow is cross exam.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
perfect.
Yeah. So, from a scientific standpoint, none of her story makes any sense. The evidence doesn't point to it happening that way at all. Not even a little.
Mhm.
And now I didn't realize, see, I thought that I guess I missed hearing the scarf part, but now I have new thoughts about this, because if she was wearing this, it's her scarf, she was wearing it. He took her glasses off, put the scarf over her eyes, right? How did Alex end up with the scarf around his neck?
I don't know.
And he got out of the car and got to the trailer. I mean, it's not a great distance, but considering what he'd been through, it is kind of far.
Well, all I want to know is she getting a Stitch Fix subscription in the county jail?
Oh, we were discussing that earlier, and
Mhm.
she's on bail. She's out on bail.
Oh, Interesting.
Because I was wondering about that too. Because, I mean, bless it, she's worn that blazer 87 different ways. She's layered it. And this is another thing. It's been a minute since I've had to layer up like that, but it's not like it's been so long that I have a hole in my memory where that memory should be or once was. I don't
Mhm.
know that if how could you possibly feel the things that she says she was feeling with respect to the sweater, because now so she's saying the sweater was the top layer, the last layer.
Well, here's the thing from a psychological perspective. Just when she says I froze, that implies that she's in some sort of dissociative state.
Right.
And by definition, in a dissociative state, you're not going to have any memory of anything, let alone feeling the intricate sensory stuff of feeling the knife making contact with your skin. Ezra, FYI.
And I have cut myself with a knife accidentally. Like 5 minutes after my husband said to me, "Hey, that knife is brand new. It's super sharp. Be careful." Literally, boom, cut my finger. It's like he cursed me. I would not describe that as a prick. It should hurt. It felt like a slice. It burned, is what it felt like. It was a burn. That's what it felt like. So, also, if you look at the sweater, it looks like it was taken off and cut. It doesn't look.
Everything looks self-inflicted.
Yeah, it doesn't look
manipulated.
Yeah, and I suppose that she is counter. Not what's the word I'm looking for? Hovering that, if you will, because that's not the right word, but I can't think of the word right now. By saying that she froze. So where you would expect for it to be ripped or I mean, it's a sweater, it's yarn, it frays. So where you would expect that, oh no, she was frozen. And then I have the other issue with the inner thigh. I know we all in at the right now in the ward know biology and anatomy. Okay. The inner thigh is not where you want to be. So what would be the point of cutting the inner thigh? That wouldn't be how you would get to where the sun, if you will. It makes no sense. I just none of this makes any like scientific sense to me at all. And it doesn't. And I don't understand the part where she says that he was going to take that after he got out of the vehicle. All right. He took his coat off and he laid down like, oh, this is an excellent place for a nap. I've just been stabbed 11 billion times, but let me just lay down. Because the way he was found, that's not where he was found. And she never talks about moving him back into the car. The way that it ended with her right there doesn't make sense.
Sorry for laughing.
No, laugh. It's funny.
Ellie 79's comment.
Yes,
it felt like I was being
too.
snapped like a pencil stick.
Yeah. So here he comes and he's like, I think this is a good spot for a nap. No.
Well, I'm wondering if that was, see, the way that I interpreted it, like, it kind of like in Jodi Arias, when I feel like when she was describing Travis being violent or whatever, like he was still alive. He was still alive after the stabs and stuff. And so just kind of like the last, you know what I mean? Like signs of life, I guess. Like, you know how especially if he depending on the injuries he obtained and how it could have messed with like his cognitive abilities.
Well, she
So
did stab him in the head.
yeah, so I'm wondering if he like maybe did do that and decide to like lay down because he was, confused.
I
But
think
I don't think so. I don't think that's the case here.
no, I don't either. I feel like this is all Todd Mullis pictures. Hold on a minute. Because I'm kind of curious about what I'll have to go back and look at the crime. There's some pictures that I want to go back and look at. I just have to find them. But anyway, my point is that I don't recall testimony of a coat being found near the trailer.
I
Is
thought it
my
was the
point.
phone.
No, the phone was found down the road because she,
In a ditch or something. Something was
well, the
found in a
knife,
ditch.
yeah, it was. She tripped and
Mhm.
fell and broke the phone. And that's why, see, here's the problem I'm having. Alex is the only one who had a phone that worked without the Wi-Fi's, right? She needed Wi-Fi's. So when they got
Mhm.
stuck in this damn mud, there was nobody decided to use a call. Nobody decided to call anybody. I mean, I get that. Okay, having your vehicle towed would be expensive, right? I get that. You don't have friends that you could call. You know what I mean?
Like Roger
Right.
with
Like
his
Jason Rock.
bicycle.
He was nearby. I mean, they had just recently left him back at Alex's house when he so abruptly ruined their delicate
Talk.
discussion,
Mhm.
which now makes sense. I never could figure out, I never could connect why he showed up there, why he followed her. And it's because they were hooking up on the low.
Of course. She was
But
hooking up with 3 people at the same time at one point.
yeah, but then, then there was the breakup with all three of them. And then there was, see, this is the thing. It didn't come out in medic Jason Rogers' testimony. Nobody asked him about it. Not even not even her defense attorney. I'm all fucking discombobulated, you guys. But she didn't even ask. She didn't even
Yeah,
ask
well,
him. And she knew about it because she'd clearly prepped the shit out of Ezra here.
mhm.
She was looking in her car for a brick also. to get her unstuck from the mud. Okay, I know that you bricks have many uses aside from just being building material. Like you could throw one through a window and break it, or knock somebody upside the head with it, or there's a lot of. I've never heard of using a brick to unstuck yourself from mud.
Me neither. And I gotten stuck in mud at the most unfortunate moments.
I mean, something.
Yeah, like 2x4s or whatever it
Right,
is,
something. Just call somebody. You had a phone there. And then there's this whole she's taking time to this whole situation has shook her so that somehow or another her shoe came off. One shoe came off, she took the other shoe off because you don't want to run away from the person who's trying to unalive you. And you don't want to have an uneven gait when you walk,
Exactly.
when you're running.
Mm-hmm.
Which we don't even know how the shoe got off the first shoe got off in the first place. It's just one of those things. The shoe came off. Just the weirdest story ever. And I cannot even believe that her attorney encouraged her to say that story.
I don't know, man.
It's the weirdest damn thing.
That's Ezra for you.
Lordy be. It's a mess. It's a mess.
But I actually do own a blazer very similar to Ezra's, and it has now forever been baptized to my Ezra blazer.
Well, good,
So
because I think you should wear it when you come to celebration. When you come down here. We
oh
need
my
to find you
God,
some sort of floral print shirt to go underneath it.
I got that covered too, girl.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Apparently Ezra shops at wherever. Oh my God.
But you should wear that while you're and remember, we're going to have to make your bangs make an X on the side of your head. And I'll bust out the curling
It
wand
is
and
pink. Coolest for you.
yeah, I'll bust out the curling wand and give the Lori
Please.
I'm not a zombie Valo do.
Please do.
I will.
That is the only way.
Oh, that's a really good idea, Max. When we go to Publix, you can use that blazer to hide your camera. Because fuck Publix, they snitch.
And snitches get stitches.
Correct.
Bitches.
And then that's another point I wanted to make. She's not at.
That.
I've seen people in horror movies make better decisions than Ezra. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen anyone now I have seen people in horror movies literally trip over air while running away from the killer. Okay.
Mhm.
However, none of them have thought that they successfully bested the killer. The killer is laying down, doing nothing, and they take a moment to carve the 10 commandments in their fucking arm, let alone boy. So they don't forget. While then, as soon as they get to the poor Don Stipples farm, they forget all the things. I've never, ever.
So unfortunate.
I would think the priority would be to get the fuck out of there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not to take time to. What, you didn't have a pencil and a pen, so you were going to make a grocery list on your arm? Like, what the hell? I can't with this woman, this chick. She's too much. She's too much. Did you see the video that I made of Allie's trip?
No, I did not.
You want to see it?
Please,
all right, let's
please.
watch that one more time.
Let's.
It was an all right. I mean, it wasn't some of my best work.
Oh,
Allie's
come on.
pictures were great, but
You don't get to criticize your work.
Who can? If I can't, then who? Are you ready? Here we go.
Aye, Kristen.
Hey, Kiss Chick.
So basically, in conclusion, Racy's is not like Cheers, where everybody knows your name and they're all glad you came. Not even a little bit.
This is great. Great. Love it. Love it.
So I have a theory about Ezra's art there. So do you notice that the pictures that she draws, the men don't have faces? See, I thought about it at first and I was thinking, well, maybe because, well, the girls brought up that maybe she just can't draw faces. But then I started thinking about that, right? And hold on, because I feel like that second picture, or maybe it was the third picture where there's a group of them. It's two guys and a chick. There's a profile to that picture, but the men in the picture don't have faces. And I feel like there's a reason for that. And it is deeper than just bitch can't draw faces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think she
Tony,
sees men that great. I don't have a very good
obviously.
view on men.
Tony, what was circled on the board was Roger's quote,
Mm-hmm.
life starts now,
Yeah, life begins now.
or life begins now. That's
Because when I
what was
tried to make
circled.
it bigger, it wouldn't come out. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Where
I
is
think there
it?
was another picture. I saw it. I think Allie had lifted one of the
Yeah, that's where it
posters.
was. That's where I saw it.
Hmm.
And I cropped it.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and tried to make it bigger so
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
it could be seen. What the hell is wrong with me today? Can't find this picture I'm looking for. But yeah, I just think it's interesting that they're faceless men. But then Sam pointed out that it could be two things. She can't draw faces, or she was taken advantage of by men. And so they're all just faceless to her,
Hmm.
which is another good point. I actually think her artwork is rather good. And I as nice as she spoke about Alex, her true passion, I believe, was for Jason. And I was thinking about something that somebody else said in the chat earlier about how perhaps Ezra was hoping that Jason would just show up and rescue her. And I thought about that as a possibility, except for the fact that Jason made it a point to encourage them to speak in a public place, and that not only that, but Alex and Ezra both agreed to speak in a public place. So some field out in the middle of nowhere is the least public place I can think of. So why the hell would he be looking for them there? You know what I mean? How would he have his big moment to rescue her? Like Shrek.
Hmm.
You know? Oh, would you, Christine? I would appreciate that. Hey, Aussie girl Jen. So yeah,
Yeah. Well,
it's a big, huge mess. That
it
makes no
is.
sense.
No, it doesn't really. Well, I'll try to make it tomorrow. I get off at work later, but I'll be here
Okay.
eventually. I might
Well,
be calling in from the car.
this is what I'll do. There are two friends that are integral to this plot, evidently, and
Hmm.
they are Jenna and I believe the other Alex.
Hmm.
Which was Jason's. Alex was Jason's roommate, and then Jenna is Jason, or is Alex's girlfriend. So what I can do is I can start at my usual time, right? Play that
Hmm.
testimony, and then by the time that's done, it'll be right around the time that you normally are ready.
Yeah.
And then that way, because I want you to be able to hear the whole, well, I mean, think there's another few parts, but the beginning of the cross exam anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because it's not,
definitely.
that's what I'll do.
Sounds
He
good.
he definitely did tell them to go to a public place, and they definitely went. Not only did they not follow directions or take advice, they went a whole 180 and went to the least public place ever. And then I like it how she says, after I carved boy into my arm, I started to make my way down the hill. Girl, it's a hill, not a mountain. And I'm sorry, how injured were you? That you need to start to make your way down the hill. Go away, Ezra.
While in a dissociative state.
Correct.
Mhm.
Chunks the knife, breaks the phone. Yeah. But then remembers that the reason she lied about saying that Alex carved boy into her arm was because she was afraid that if she admitted that she had done that, then they would think that she'd asked for it or she had done the rest.
Oh, girl.
Right?
Another one of those who thinks for the detective.
Correct. But
Mhm.
here's the problem, Ezra. There were 2 knives used. You know it, I know it, and the state knows it, and the person at the forensicing lab knows it as well.
Good night, Max.
Good night, Max. See you tomorrow night. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll be looking forward to tomorrow then, because Max is right. I gotta get out of here too.
I
'Cause
do
got
too.
a
I got to get to
big
bed
day
too.
tomorrow.
I don't have a big day. I just have a regular day, but
Well, yeah,
I still have to
same.
get up early. I don't have anything important. I don't have any important meetings or anything unless Alice has added some to my schedule I'm unaware of. She does that sometimes. So,
Okay, well, I'll check my schedule and then we'll meet somewhere.
okay, babe, sounds good. All right, you guys. Good night, everybody.
All
Thank
right.
you for being here. Thanks for coming, Dr. B. I appreciate it.
Thank you
Why
for
are you
having
laughing
me.
at me? I was not even trying to be funny then. I was trying to be serious. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you came. Now we have
Of course.
a better time frame worked out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm getting into the groove of things again.
Good. I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that.
Oh, come on. You know yawning is
I'm
contagious.
tired, babe. I've been up since
That's right.
early this morning and worked my butt off today. I
You
had to
too.
do all my Sunday chores. Hey,
Oh,
Sugar Bee.
well,
Yeah, I had to do laundry. Like I'm done with
girl.
laundry, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've mastered that skill. It's time for a new one. Let somebody else do it. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, you guys. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Good night. Okay, bye.
Good night. Bye.